We know you're all happy that we're back for another week of Cover 4 after the Cowboys moved to 12-2 on the season, 4-12 last year. This is the biggest turnaround in club history. I'm Lindsay Draper. I've got Dave, Tay, Manny with me, and we are going to get in the holiday spirit in this show and move towards Christmas this week. Much to look forward to on Wednesday. But Dave, what you got for us?
I'm glad you asked that question, Cinderblock.
I look like a cinder block.
It's okay. With a win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday night, the Dallas Cowboys have 12 wins. Guess what? They don't technically have to win another game to get home field advantage. If the Eagles beat the Giants on Thursday night, it's all taken care of. So, Manny, you're not the only Eagles fan in the house this week. Let's go. Fly, Eagles, fly.
We said that.
Let's go. Yeah.
After Dak Prescott had one of his worst performances last week in New York, he bounced back and did something that no Cowboys quarterback has ever been able to do. On 32 of 36 completed passes, he had a 88.9 completion percentage, ranking in also at the second all-time in NFL history. So, very good.
Ezekiel Elliott is a beast. Didn't think so before the season that he might be able to attain this record, but the NFL rookie rushing record is well within his reach. 129 yards the next two games, that's all he needs. He has Detroit this week, 11th ranked in the rushing defense. The Eagles next week, like Dave said, fly Eagles fly, but not in 2 weeks from now because I think Zeke breaks that record.
Could be huge. Zeke would definitely be a game changer if he broke that record. Let's get into Sunday night's game changers. And the first one to talk about is really fun because David Irving is 6'7", he's 23 years old, and made a huge ruckus against Jameis Winston.
Yeah, coming into last night's game, they were without two of their key starters in Cedric Thornton and DeMarcus Lawrence, but David Irving didn't even care. He played 41 of 59 snaps and just dominated Jameis Winston all night. 2 sacks on 2 tackles for a loss of 14 yards. David Irving was completely dominating.
Chalk up 9 hurries as well, which many hurries you might not see them happen, but they change the game for sure.
David Irving is a beast. I'm watching the game last night. Now, I will be honest. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers right tackle is pretty trash. I'm just going to be real.
He was the backup, right?
He's the backup right tackle, and then they even had to bench him for the backup's backup. But David Irving, I don't want to hear any more about the Cowboys don't have a pass rush. Because he is their pass rush.
Well, and last week we were talking about how can this defense even try to stop Mike Evans.
Yep.
There's your answer right there. You just had your quarterback on the ground all game. Well, no one's going to get the football if he's on the ground.
I'm going to throw one more thing in there. He's been playing at tackle. He was great in Green Bay at tackle. They didn't have guys who could play defensive end. Tyrone Crawford left the game with an injury. Lawrence is out. They're shorthanded. So they just moved him out there basically out of necessity, and he does that. I have a feeling he'll be playing a little more end.
Game changer, David Irving. Will he do it on Monday night again? That will be fun to watch. Hey, Randy Gregory might be out there too. We'll get to that later. But number 2 game changer, Ezekiel Elliott, career night.
Ezekiel Elliott, I think it goes without saying. Manny's telling you that he's this close to being Eric Dickerson's worst nightmare.
Yep.
And he just dominated once more. We could all talk about his touchdown, which we will as well. But the guy just put it on Tampa Bay. I think on Wednesday we were talking about giving him 40 carries. On 23 carries, he gets his best yardage.
What I loved about this was that, honestly, he kind of disappeared in the middle of this game. They fumbled a snap on the reverse. They couldn't convert third downs that kept him off the field. Then it was the fourth quarter, though. 42-yard run, getting the Cowboys out of their own side of the field. He took over this game.
And I'll chime in, Dave, and say I'm not sure if he disappears as much as it feels like he disappears. Because you look at the stat sheet, and he's still getting his yards. But, I'll be watching the games, and I'm like, Zeke hasn't done much. Look up 159 yards later, he balled again.
He had 48 yards at half. So, he did a huge chunk of his work down the stretch. Yeah. Especially the defense struggled in the third quarter. Bucs dominated time of possession, comes back in the fourth and ate them up.
Yep. All I'm saying is it's more fun with those 2 rookies on the field. And our third game changer, Jason Garrett said it today in his press conference. He said the defense really was our game changer, and it's got to be Jeff Heath.
The GOAT.
Shouts out.
The GOAT.
Goat Heath.
Goat.
We're calling him
Yeah,
Goat
exactly.
Heath.
Excuse
He's
me.
changed his name.
He deserves
has
it.
personally changed his name. Jeff Heath, Dave pointed this out last night. What is his all-time career interception record?
4.
And who have three of them been against?
Jameis Winston of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So
He
maybe
has
they're
his
having,
number.
He does.
they might be having private practices during the week. You know, Jameis was passing to him saying, here, Heath, I'm going to be throwing it to you right here.
Where's Jeff? Where's 38? You get the ball.
38, I'm coming to you. So, and then, you know, this play was actually crucial because it was tied up at 20, and Jeff Heath's pick allowed the Dallas Cowboys to get a field goal to take the lead at 23. So that was key in the fourth quarter.
Only scored 2 touchdowns on the night. Heath set him up with the game-winning points.
Yes, of those
The
4
GOAT.
takeaways, a couple of those were great field position for the offense. And I said earlier, we're going to get in the holiday spirit. We have to do that by tipping our cap, Manny, to some really good, warm things that are happening around the league.
Yeah, it's time to tip the cap. Let's get off the field real quick. And let's talk about some real life stuff. Tyrone Crawford, Emmett Cleary, those 2 guys, Salvation Army, ringing the bell, giving back, doing what the Cowboys do best, besides winning games, that is. Out there, you see them in the community, talking, loving on other people, loving on the fans. When you talk about some of the good things being done, not only on the field, but off the field, having a good time, that's what it's all about. So to those 2, Tyrone, big number 98, I tip my cap to you.
Good job,
Big number
guys.
63, I tip my
our
cap.
to you.
2 tap kips.
I like
2 tap.
2 tip caps.
Try that again.
Caps. You got it.
There we go.
Next one, Zeke. We all know what he did on the field, 159 yards. But how about the hurdle, which Lindsay so lovely demonstrated earlier in the show, into the red kettle? He talked about doing it before the game, had the courage to do it during the game. I respect him.
That's 4 feet high. So, I mean, you know, we got Mr. Broadjump and Byron Jones, but maybe Zeke's taking that
In the
front
high
end.
jump?
That thing comes
Broad
up. That
jump,
thing comes
yeah.
up to my shoulder.
But
like I
the
stood
reason
next to
that
it
we're
last night.
tipping our cap even kind of goes beyond this, right?
Absolutely. In the 12 hours since this has happened, they raised $182,000 in online donations, and now are looking at just immense donations throughout the rest of the season. And they were all worried. I mean, we all felt this yesterday. Texas was extremely cold. So was the entire nation. They were worried about donations dropping due to frigid temperatures. Zeke just helped them out in a big way.
So, Zeke, we tip our cap to you and smoothly transitioning. What you got, Dave?
Doing the most good.
Doing the most good.
All,
Let's talk
all
about the Salvation Army real quick.
Savage Army.
You might as well call them that. I mean, 3 fire tweets. The first one, Zeke made an important contribution for the Dallas Cowboys tonight. Can you contribute to the millions, they say? The second one, Darren Ravel trying to chime in.
Darren Ravel.
Not subtle. Salvation Army using Elliott now to ask for your money. Salvation Army, they had the last laugh. Our goal is to serve 58 million meals in the U.S. It's in the time to be subtle. Taylor, that shot's fired. You know a thing or two about social.
So many shots.
That's about as savage
That's
as
great
it gets.
social media right
It was
there.
great social media. They capitalized on it immediately. In the game, they were tweeting at us saying, hey, can we use all of this? They know they need to get these donations. And, I mean, you said it before the show. Charlotte Jones Anderson has a wonderful relationship with the Salvation Army. Jerry Jones said, hey, I would go to the Supreme Court for this.
They back the Salvation
You do
Army.
that,
We love
Jerry.
it. All right, let's take our first break. And when we come back, we have That's What He Said. Next up on Cover 4.
Join us for the ultimate dining experience at AT&T Stadium's new sports bar. Open daily, Stadium Club is the perfect place for a casual night out, a business lunch, or to catch any game. Providing a stellar culinary and entertainment experience, Stadium Club has 20 flat screens and highlights a classic menu with a sophisticated touch and local and seasonal ingredients. At Stadium Club, you will enjoy first-class dining with all the comforts of your favorite sports bar. Visit attstadium.com.
Well, NFL is is not the only football people are talking about, Tay.
It's bowl season, and everyone is chiming in about what some of these high draft prospects should do or shouldn't do. You know, they're telling them, hey, you need to play in your college bowl. This is the last game you have with your team. Or, hey, we understand you're moving on to the NFL. Sit this one out. It's an exhibition game, basically, if it doesn't count. So, Ezekiel Elliott took to Twitter today, who is a very famous high draft prospect who left his senior season away to go to the NFL, and he said that, hey, I would love to play another game with these guys, but I understand they're fighting through injuries. So he changed his mind after some tweets.
Lots
in today's
of
Cowboys
opinions.
Connected.
Twitter has a knack of bringing opinions out like that. Just a little bit.
People get a say, I guess.
Zeke shares a draft class with Jalen Smith, so I would talk
He's
to him
very
about it.
familiar. I mean, Jalen Smith was going to tackle Ezekiel Elliott, so.
All right, next up, who else gets a say in our show? That would be quarterback Dak Prescott in That's What He Said. Here's Dak.
I don't pay attention to the noise. I couldn't tell you what much that was said really all week. I kind of found out some later in the week, but that really doesn't bother me. If anything, it's motivation. I just wanted to come back and perform after the game I played last week. That's the only thing in my mind, is just to respond from last week's performance. He say, she say, doesn't affect me.
What's sad is even though Dak said it himself, people will find a way to bring the noise back. Just enjoy the silence right now while we have it. Enjoy the silence.
I really do believe that he doesn't look at it. At first I didn't. I thought, of course he's looking at Twitter. That just makes sense. But I think now he's just playing his game, and he's doing fantastic.
Yeah, I think he talks about it all the time, but I'm going to tell you, I really think for him to play this well, this often, you have to be blocking it out. I totally agree. I just don't think he pays attention to it.
Props to Dak for having it together. I mean, this whole season, he has not really faltered in the limelight.
Well, he can't. I mean, these are big games. He knew the pressure that was coming on him. I mean, he is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. They just set a record for how many primetime games they're on. So he can't. He doesn't have time to do that. And I think he's mature enough, which sounds weird, he's a rookie, but he's mature enough to know he doesn't have a second to waste. This is his one opportunity. We're seeing that with Carson Wentz and Jared Goff.
All right, well, I mentioned the silence earlier. Well, there was some noise this week, and for those of you that were making noise, some of you might have been quiet, but for those of you who were, Des has a couple words for you.
You know, the thing about it is, it's like this. I'm talking to a lot of people. I'm talking to the fake Cowboy fans. I'm talking to the bandwagons. I'm just talking about everybody. You know, just first off, just jump off. You know, just jump off. You know, jump off. Like we lost one game. We was 11-2. Like, come on, man. This guy put us in this position. Like, and you just get to talking crazy. And you know, we have, you know, one bad game. It's crazy. You know, this is why, you know, everybody get blocks out, and we got to stick together. We got to just focus on ourselves and keep on pushing and not, you know, paying attention to the noise, like the fake praise. You know, we got to treat the fake praise, you know, like the hate is all the same.
There's so much to love there. Like,
So much.
Did he just listen to Fake Love by Drake?
My heart is overflowing. He should have, or No New Friends, maybe.
Blocked out, Dave? Are you getting blocked out right now?
There's so much to love about this cinder block. Thank you. It's amazing. Like, first of all, I love it when guys are real, and admitting that you hear the noise is so real. All week long, people criticizing Dak Prescott, criticizing the Cowboys offense. Des has an Instagram, he has a Twitter, he sees it, he hears it, and he's not afraid to let people know about that. Number two, he goes to bat for his quarterback like a freaking boss. And
Respect.
you know, maybe it'd be more mature to ignore it, but I love that he comes out and says, he literally, direct quote, shut the hell up. I love that he stood up for his guy.
Jump off.
Way to go.
Jump off.
Just go ahead and jump off.
Awesome.
All
He
right,
doesn't say
let's
where to land.
move
Just jump.
to sound off, and let's see what everyone thinks about this Cowboys defense. Last week we said, can they keep it up? Well, this week the question is, can Randy Gregory come in and have an immediate impact? Which I will be the first to say, like Tay mentioned earlier, probably because Rod Marinelli makes a ton of substitutions, maybe on some third and longs, and every day out these windows, we see him working out.
Yeah, I asked Rod Marinelli today. I saw him in the hall, and I was like, man, David Irving, he did so great. I said, would you ever consider making him a starter? And he said, he's a starter on third down. So, you know, he thinks of this rotation constantly. Randy Gregory is coming off a 14-game suspension, coming off a rookie season where he was injured, never recorded a single sack. I think you have to ask, what is the impact? If he's just kind of helping as a relief guy, I think he'll be able to do that. Now, Garrett mentioned today he won't even start practicing until Thursday due to the Monday Night Football game. He has been around the star, though, throughout his suspension, being able to be in meetings, being able to talk to coaches, and work out with the strength coach. So he's in great shape. He put on a lot of weight, and this guy was a first-round talent.
He is 20 pounds over where he weighs. He's 250, solid 250. He looks fantastic the way he's been working out, the way
Look
he's
at
been
him
training.
posing for you.
Oh, hey, Randy, what's going on, man?
Probably a year ago.
All of that said, and that's a great point, Cash, not only has he been suspended, he didn't go to training camp. He hasn't done football stuff since OTAs.
So,
I'm not optimistic.
I feel like it's two questions. One, can he make an impact? That's one question. It won't be any fault of Rod Marinelli if he doesn't. But I don't think the Cowboys need him to make an impact anymore. Honestly, after what I watched yesterday, and after what y'all were telling me, I disagreed last week. I didn't think this Cowboys defense was too much to give praise to.
You said they had one defender.
Exactly. But now, after watching that game yesterday,
You're like a
I changed
roller
my mind.
coaster.
I am.
Like you go up and down. You got to stay on a flat line, man.
You got to show me something.
They've been bad. They've been bad. They don't have a lot of talent. They were good last night. I don't think that means that they're suddenly world beaters. I think Randy Gregory would be great. If he could play at a high level, he could make them that much better. And maybe with several weeks to reacclimate, playoffs, anybody?
We
that could be
believe in
awful.
Randy.
Right away, I don't see it. But hey, hopefully this season keeps going for another month or so. Maybe he can acclimate and have a chance to do something.
Maybe we can have a chance to hear Manny's OT right now.
Going to OT, well, Dan Bailey in foreign territory missed 2 field goals last night. Doesn't happen very often, but remember last year, Monday Night Football against the Redskins kicked the game winner. Look for him to rebound strong this coming week, Monday night again.
The Detroit Lions didn't help us at all on Sunday, losing to the Giants and not helping us clinch the NFC East. But their local newspaper, what was it called? The
Jackson Citizen Patriot?
The Jackson Citizen Patriot got a little thing wrong, maybe a week early, saying that the Lions were roped by the Dallas Cowboys.
Maybe they're fortune tellers.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's the oldest cliche in football that offense wins games, defenses win championships. Whoop-de-doo. Hey, guess what? With their latest win over Tampa, the Cowboys are tied in scoring defense at 18.4 points a game. With who? The Denver Broncos, which was a championship defense just a year ago. I think this defense is good enough to get them there, honestly.
I think that was kind of a mic drop moment, Dave.
Dave?
You feeling it? You feeling the mic drop?
What
All right,
up?
we have more coming for you in
Merry
Cover 4
Christmas.
this week. We will be back, you filthy animals.
Cinder
Much
block.
more Christmas to come. Here, Cover 4.